So this is the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and it just launched to the world today officially for everyone to go pick up or pre-order. If you got your pre-order, you can pick that up today. We're going to go ahead and unbox it and find out everything you need to know, at least on this first impressions, and we'll be doing many more reviews and comparisons soon. Let's go. Well, I do, because I like that with this box, you can go ahead and just peel these tabs to get into the phone. You don't got to go get a knife or nothing like that. Some other phones, you got to go ahead and use a knife or something to get into the box. But you can see, here we go, unveiling the Desert Titanium. So here it is right here, and definitely a really stunning color for sure. It's a gold like color here, bringing back like that 11 Pro Max, 11 Pro vibes right here, if you ask me. Of course, we're going to go through the whole phone here, and like always, Apple's always going to put their little sticker on the front. Not much action on the peel right there. Let's go ahead and boot this up and see what else comes in the box here. So right there is the iPhone 16 Pro Max. You'll see we do have our braided USB-C to USB-C, and then inside of here, iPhone, even the warranty guides are getting smaller and smaller. So they're really trying to break this box down as much as possible. Definitely a good thing for the environment. But definitely these iPhone boxes have gotten a lot slimmer. There's essentially nothing really in the box, just your phone right here. And while this is setting up, I do gotta say my first impressions is it feels like a slightly bigger, but still like similar iPhone 15 Pro Max. It doesn't feel massively different from that, but I am noticing right off the bat that the bezels do look a little bit thinner than before. It's just getting thinner and thinner, so I do like that, and it definitely has a slightly larger looking display. It's not massive, but if you're coming from like a 6.5 inch iPhone, this is going to feel like a very large phone right here in the 16 Pro Max. You can see it's pretty much filling the whole frame of the video right here. So we're still setting up here, but I do want to cover a few key specifications in this first impressions unboxing here. We do have a 48 megapixel ultra wide now, as well as the standard wide. And we also do have 8 gigabytes of RAM. So they didn't go to 12 gigs, which is a little bit disappointing. The Apple A18 Pro chip is in here, and 6.9 inch display. We also now have the capture button right here. Let me go ahead and click it for you. You can hear it, it's actually a clicking button. Whereas on the older iPhone 15 Pro series, it was just a 5G antenna right there. Now, if we look around the body here, you'll see this Desert Titanium has much more of a gold brushed look on the edges. Really nice here. And you'll see USB-C, and then we got the microphone holes. Over here, the action button now comes to all of the iPhones in the lineup, so that's a nice touch. And of course, we still have the similar cameras right here, and then they do have like these camera rings around them that do match the portion up here. So honestly, this phone's color looks exactly to me like the 11 Pro Max, almost just like that phone 11 Pro. Do you remember that year? This color looks almost identical to that. But we're now in the setup process, getting past the activation. You can see right here, action button is showing you how to use this and stuff like this. You can customize this here. Now, if you didn't have a 15 Pro or Pro Max, this is gonna be an all new feature for you if you get any of the iPhone 16s. So a nice new touch. I'm gonna leave it on the camera. Actually, no, we don't need to use that anymore because of the camera control. So it would be kind of pointless to use this one. I'm gonna put it on the flashlight, which I had it on my 15 Pro Max. Now here's the all new feature, the camera control, which I showed you a little bit earlier, the side button, and it'll show you how to go ahead and use this. You're just going to click it right there, click to take a photo. If you hold down, it should take a video, and we'll go ahead and learn more about that. Also, keep in mind that the Apple Intelligence is available for this product, but it's not available at launch right here, so they're working on that. It's going to be out in October, which is not too far. They're already working on the 18.1 beta to really get this out to you. Beta 4, I think it was beta 4 18.1 just dropped yesterday. But for now, you're gonna have to go ahead and just use the regular Siri just for a little bit. It's not gonna be too long though, and you're gonna have the new Apple Intelligence features for this product. Okay, so you see when I booted in, they gave me an iOS 18 wallpaper by default, which is all these infused light color wallpapers. You can see we have these different styles right here, yellow, pink, azure, and purple. But if you go down to collections, you're gonna find that one that you see on the box. And I know a lot of people are gonna wanna use this wallpaper they see on the box You can see it'll have a color matching wallpaper depending on the color of the iPhone you go with. This will be for the black titanium, this will be for the white titanium, natural titanium, and desert titanium, which we're going to click add right here. So those are the wallpaper pairs that come on the product. A little bit later though, I'm going to show you comparison and the size difference. Now looking at the display right away, it looks very big and gorgeous. As always, it is an OLED panel and it gets incredibly bright. I will be paying attention over the next coming days about how this does with the heat. It's supposed to be better now than ever before. But let's go ahead now and discuss a little bit about what I expect to see when it comes to the battery life on this. Now, if you read into Apple's website, you're going to see that they're rating this to be a little bit around 4 hours better battery life, which is definitely something that we do have to pay attention to, because this is definitely going to be a huge jump if it is actually that much better. So I'll be looking into that to see how great this battery life really is. But definitely, seeing as my 15 Pro Max was really good and this battery is even bigger and better, this should be, it has a faster CPU. This should be one of the best iPhone batteries since iPhone 13 Pro Max. So I'm excited to see about it. So let's take a look at the all new camera control button. So let's go ahead and bring this ultramarine iPhone 16 in here. I will be covering that later as well. If you're interested in the base model iPhone 16 and the base model Pro, I'll be covering that soon as well. But you can clearly just go in there and see your camera setup is going to be really, really high quality on this phone. Also, if we go ahead and click right here, it's like that. Once you're in though, it becomes like this zooming thing you can do over here. If you have a little haptic press right there, and then if you hold down, you can go ahead and take your photo. It's kind of like a light swipe through, and then it just kind of gives you this nice zooming effect. So it's, depends. If you're going to use the camera a lot, it could be an amazing feature. If you're not, it probably won't be that big of a deal to you. But definitely, I think people, photographers, people hold this on a tripod are gonna absolutely love this right here. And then if you hold down, you can go ahead and take your video and then stop it right there. You can also zoom in with that during video, look like. So yeah, you just gotta hold for a second and you can zoom in. So it's gonna take a little practice even for me to get used to this. It's a new feature, but definitely a neat one for those of you who like to try out new things and see something new. So while people say this phone doesn't have hardly anything new, that's a very big different experience. It's a hardware-based button that also has capacitive feedback that will allow you to swipe through zooming and stuff like that. So I think it does change the experience a little bit, for sure, definitely versus some of the older iPhones out there. And of course, we don't have a SIM card tray support. This is going to be eSIM only right here. Nowhere to be found on the US base model. There are other models around the world that are going to be getting the SIM card, but I don't know how much longer that's going to last. We have our dynamic island on here, which is pretty much expected at this point. So not a full screen iPhone just yet. And let's go ahead and see that the action button works flawlessly for using the controls that you set up. So that's a nice touch as well. I also noticed I don't really see any 5G antennas around here. Maybe it is infused within this camera button or something. I don't really see it anywhere on here. So that's pretty cool. A nice clean look. And just when people thought Apple was going away from buttons, they have plenty here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons on the iPhone. So that might just be a rumor that's just not coming true, like a buttonless iPhone. Personally, I don't really want a buttonless iPhone. That's just me. I like my buttons on my phone. Alright, so scrolling through the OS, this is the ProMotion display, so it's going to be very fast as you expect. I don't think this is going to like really perform much different in day-to-day practice from like an iPhone 15 Pro Max. However, we will do that speed test, so be subscribed. It's going to be super interesting to put these up against some of the best phones out there. So stay tuned. It's going to be a battle for the iPhone 16 Pro Max versus some of the heavy hitters in the game. So definitely going to be fun. But overall, it's rolling really good. The new control center. It's nice if you didn't upgrade to iOS 18 and then you pick up a 16 Pro Max. You're going to get all new software, new button, new phone. It's going to feel like a totally big change for you. I want to showcase to you something that I'm noticing right away though with the iPhone 15 Pro Max and this one right here. So you can see it definitely looks a little bit taller. We're doing that whole AirDrop bring together thing. But if you look closely, it looks a little taller. So it's only slight. Look up at the top. Look at the left and look at the top. It's definitely bigger than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Is it a drastic difference? No, but every little bit counts. So I definitely like it, especially when you're watching like a video. You're getting 0.2 inches bigger display. I mean, it's nearing 7 inches now for the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So while it's not a huge departure, I would like even bigger display. This is definitely a very, very nice upgrade, especially if you're coming from one of the older iPhones. So as a matter of fact, let's take a look at one of the older iPhones comparatively. One that has a 6.5-inch display. Something like an iPhone 11 Pro Max, which was one of my favorites of all time in the Apple lineup. So let me go ahead and pull this in. I'm going to go ahead and brighten this display up. And you'll see definitely much taller than that one and bigger. Again, it's not drastically bigger than the iPhone 11 Pro Max, but it's definitely a bigger phone overall. So, and smoother, much smoother and better camera by far. So if you're looking to upgrade your 11 Pro Max, this is going to be a huge one for you. Sure, I mean, look at the camera difference. And back then, when the 11 Pro Max came out, these cameras looked amazing. They were huge at the time, but not anymore. They look tiny by comparison to the 16 Pro Max. So let's take a look now at some other older iPhones and other phones to see what it looks like by comparison. So here is the 13 Pro Max. You can see right here, this is probably one that a lot of people are looking to upgrade this year. You can see you are going to be getting a much newer looking design, and that feature is driving me insane. But you're definitely going to get a much newer looking design here. No more notch on this phone, a bigger panel, smoother edges right here. Definitely 13 Pro Max still looks solid, don't get me wrong. But the cameras are larger now, the phone is lighter, smoother on the edges. It's a much more polished version and lighter version, premium version of the 13 Pro Max. But that doesn't make the 13 Pro Max bad. This is still an amazing smartphone and still feels quite up to date. Even with the newest iOS, it still feels very good, the 13 Pro Max. Right, so let's take a look at one that I think looks pretty much identical in shape. This is the Pixel 9 Pro XL. It's also about the same height and width. This is a really good competitor if you want an Android device that's similar in build, premium. The Pixel 9 Pro XL looks fantastic next to this phone. They both look fantastic. This is an amazing options we have these days. This is the porcelain color and this is the desert titanium. Of course, you're not getting that capture button, but I'm sure next year a lot of Android phones are going to start adding that. That's usually how it goes. They start adding features that other makers have made that become popular features. They start adding them to their phones. So we'll see if that starts happening in the future. And probably one of the biggest speed test phones we're going to see battle against the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the Galaxy S24 Ultra. So look at it. It's still towering over the brand new 16 Pro Max. This is still the largest, one of the largest consumer-grade smartphones on the market today, the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Of course, there's probably a bigger phone somewhere in the world. I'm talking about mainstream popular phones. Look at that S24 Ultra, definitely bigger, with a bold-looking stance as well. So this is going to be one battle we're going to have to face off very soon here on the channel. So that is the S24 Ultra. By comparison, you can see both have really nice edges, very premium builds, nice cameras, really good comparison right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of the ones that doesn't get too much attention in the market. That's going to be the OnePlus 12. Definitely a very nice alternative option to some of the more popular phones out there. And this one is also a little bit taller, looks slightly taller than the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Definitely a very fast phone as well, super smooth. So this is going to be one heck of a battle as well. The OnePlus 12 versus the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So those are some nice comparisons right there. Definitely some similar like phones. So wrapping it up, my first impressions are this definitely slots into the marketplace as one of the best flagship options out there for sure. For some, it is the best option. You know, it's Apple. They love their Apple iPhones. They love their ecosystem. This phone is going to be fast, great battery life, great cameras. I already can feel it. It's just a slightly better version of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. That's just what it is. And we're going to go ahead, put it to the test, run it against the other phones, and stay tuned because I'm also going to cover the iPhone 16 and the 16 Plus soon, which is going to be really fun to see how those phones got upgraded, because those got some nice upgrades as well. So thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you all in the very next episode. Be sure to leave all your comments, questions, concerns, what you want to see going forward down below in the comments.